Welcome back to my channel. My name is Nayri, also known as Wedding Fashion Expert. This week, we are talking about how to be more confident, change your mindset while loving your body leading up to your wedding day. Before we dive into this topic, please be sure to subscribe to my channel, leave a comment below, let me know if there's a specific topic or video you'd like me to create for you. I am here for you, guiding you along the way, leading up to your special day. For those of you that are new to my channel, welcome. I am so honored that you have found me. I am, of course, a wedding fashion expert, stylist, buyer, and I wear so many different hats at LOVELLA Bridal, located in Los Angeles, California. For daily content, please be sure to follow at LOVELLA Bridal, at LOVELLA Plus, and at Wedding Fashion Expert on Instagram. And don't forget to follow on TikTok at LOVELLA Bridal and at Wedding Fashion Expert. So many people ask me how they can be more confident, how they can change their mindset as they prepare for their big day. There's so much anxiety that comes out when you are preparing for your wedding day, because for many of us who are not extroverts, I also actually happen to be an introvert. I am a learned extrovert. People forget how uncomfortable and nerve-wracking a wedding day can be for the couple getting married. Here you are throwing a big day, a big event for all your loved ones, especially for the two of you. And oftentimes it's so easy to get caught up into what everybody else wants that you lose sight of what it is that you want, and you start to become really insecure. Maybe it's about your body or things that people are saying and the voices that are around you. I can absolutely relate. Whenever I'm creating something new, like these YouTube videos, right? I have had people criticize and tell me that I look silly making the videos that I do, and my TikToks and Reels and everything I create. I have had people tell me that all I do is create videos all day and I don't actually work. Sometimes our loved ones mean well and say things that really dig deep into our own, or it's our own mindset, our own inner thoughts that are really negative, that every time you look in the mirror, you're saying something negative about yourself or negative about the day, and really bringing your confidence level down. I want you to practice positive self-affirmations. So something that I worked on, I found out on TikTok that I have what's called a hip dip. A hip dip is essentially a muscle atrophy of the hip. I would see this on my brides all the time. So typically when you think of an hourglass shape, a woman's body goes in at the waist and out at the hips, and the hips are nice and round. That's oftentimes how we see the shape of the hip from the front. However, a lot of women go out and then dip in and then come right out at the thighs. So I actually have that. You would never know and you would never notice it. And I only noticed it when I wore leggings. I noticed that I had a hip dip after I saw a TikTok of a woman who had a hip dip, and she had surgery to fill in that hip dip. Now, whatever she needs to do to make herself feel confident, I'm all for it. I fully support anybody doing anything that they feel is important to them to be confident. Now, of course, there are some boundaries that people can cross that's a bit excessive, but at the end of the day, who are we to judge? I am a firm believer in people doing what they feel is the best decision for them. Once I learned that I had hip dips, I became very fixated on it. And I had no problem with it before because I had no idea I even had it or what it was, or that this has a title, a name, a thing. No clue. So I realized that I started to really become insecure about this. And I didn't like how that insecurity felt. I didn't like how the negative self-talk felt. It brought me down in all different areas of my mood and energy and the way I looked at myself when I looked in the mirror. So I decided I needed to make a change because I became very obsessive over this. And I just didn't think that it was healthy. I had never felt this way about anything else, and this was something that I was starting to really obsess over. So that being said, every time I look in the mirror, I look at my hip dips and I would say out loud to myself, I love my hip dips. I love the way my body looks. Whether I believed it or not, I said it and then I started to believe it. I didn't allow those negative thoughts and negative feelings towards my hip dips to come through. And now I just completely ignore them. I don't care about them. I loved my body before, and now that I learned this new thing about it, I had to fall back in love with my body. And that's okay. It is so important for us to love ourselves, because in order to love others, we must have love for ourselves first and foremost, so that we have love to give and love to share. What you think, you become. That's a quote from Buddha that I love and I have taped up in my office and I look at almost daily when I'm at work. It says, what you think, you become. Your thoughts are so powerful. So if there is a person or something that is bothering you through the wedding process, I want you to take that negative phrase that you say and turn it into a positive, even if you don't believe it, even if it's not a fact. The fact is that I have a hip dip. The emotion behind it is, do I love it or do I not? Well, I didn't know I wasn't supposed to love it until I was told by someone on TikTok that it's not pretty to have a hip dip. So the point that I'm getting to is, I want you to reverse your negative talk to a positive. And if it means you need to write it down, look at it, and I need you to read it out loud every single day. There is something so powerful about saying the words out loud versus just saying it in your head. When you say it out loud, it allows your brain and your ears to hear it, and it sinks in a different way. You might think I'm totally crazy right now, but I swear it works because I've tried it and it works. I want you to give it a try and report back to me what it was that you were saying to yourself that was negative, what you changed it to, and how that impacted you. You are not necessarily going to have an immediate change. It's not magic. It's a work in progress, and you need to constantly remind yourself when you get there. I'm not saying ignore the negative thought. Acknowledge it and change it, and then you will start to believe it. It's quite powerful if you're willing to give it a try. This also works through the wedding planning process. If you're having a difficult time through the planning process, or things seem to be going wrong, instead of saying, I can't wait for this wedding to be over, I want this to be done, I'm so sick of this, I want you to say, I am on this journey. This is a unique journey, a once in a lifetime journey. In this moment, I know that people get married again. However, even when you do it again, it is in that specific moment. It is uniquely yours and that moment for you for the rest of your life. I want you to try to enjoy, or at least accept, the process. Try not to rush through it. So many of my brides tell me after wedding day that they look back on it and they stressed all the small details that they wish they had just enjoyed a little bit more, because it was so not as big of a deal as they made it out to be, which is something that I 100% can relate to and would do. I would make little things a bigger deal than they need to be until I was able to learn, and it's still a work in progress. I'm not perfect, to let things roll off my back and to not get so worked up over the minute details. The big picture of this is that you are marrying your person. You are planning an event to celebrate your love. Focus on that and be kind to yourselves. Be kind to the voice in your head when you look in the mirror and look at your body and criticize yourself. If you are not going to uplift yourself and say kind things to yourself, who is? It starts with you, and then as your confidence exudes, people will notice that, and you may get compliments if that's what you're looking for from people you love, or you may get criticism because they themselves have negative self-talk, and it's not really about you, it's about their own self-talk. So I want you to be a bouncing board and allow those hurtful words to touch you and bounce right back off of you, because I do not want you to absorb those into your thoughts. I want you to remain positive and happy and enjoy your life, your body, be confident, and enjoy the process and this journey of life that you are on. I hope that you found this video helpful. For more videos and tips like these, please be sure to tune in every Wednesday, 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and I will see you in next week's video.